And to round out my presentation, I want to go over some best practices for Amazon advertising. So this page right here, we see that it's a page from Amazon. It's from marketplacepulse.com. And here they're showing what the search result page looks like when we type in a keyword at the top of the search bar. I can't really see it. The font size is really small, but it's it's related to lamps. So it could be floor lamp or table lamp. And as you can see, when it comes to organic results, so previously, organic results used to dominate most of the real estate in a search result page. But as this example shows, we see that a lot of the screen real estate has been cut up and occupied by so many other things. A lot of it is taken up by ads. So the very top row where it says sponsored brand, that's certainly an ad right there. And then there's 3 ads here, followed by 2 organic results. And then there's these placements here that are Amazon's own widgets. And then finally, you get a full row of organic results at the bottom. So this is to paint you a picture that Amazon's own internal ways or Amazon's automated widgets to create these rows of results is taking up a lot of space. But organic results don't really dominate this page. In fact, there seems to be just as many sponsored products being marketed as there are organic results. So this is to really drive the point that, especially in the last 2 years and definitely moving forward, Amazon is really trying to they're really trying to place emphasis on sellers to advertise. So it is key to your business in order to have that visibility and grab eyeballs from shoppers that you really need to consider Amazon advertising as part of your playbook if you haven't done so already. But if you're already advertising and you're not prioritizing it, now is the time more than ever to really put some effort and emphasis on advertising on Amazon. Okay, so just real quickly, I want to go over the structure of an Amazon sponsored products campaign. And this is starting to also apply to the AMS side of things, now called Advertising Console, as well as in Seller Central. So campaigns can be auto or manual. And by automatic, that means you do not need to provide keywords. Amazon will predict the keywords as well as the competing ASIN targets that should be used to advertise your product. But you can also create manual campaigns, and manual campaigns is where you do select the keywords and the product targets that you want to advertise for. Now, within campaigns, there could be one or several ad groups. Our suggestion is that each ad group contains at most 1 SKU, okay, and 1 match type. So keywords, when you add new keywords into your campaigns, or really into your ad groups, in an Amazon account, you can choose from 3 match types: broad, phrase, and exact. We really encourage you to create ad groups so that there's only 1 SKU and there's only 1 match type in that ad group. So if you have 100 keywords and you want to add those 100 keywords as broad match, phrase match, and exact match, then what you'll do is you'll create 3 ad groups: one for 100 broad match keywords, a second ad group for the next 100 phrase match keywords, and then a third ad group for the next and final 100 keywords that are all exact match. Okay. The reason for doing this is the way the data is structured, the way the reports and the data is structured in Amazon, where if you were to create an ad group that had multiple SKUs in it, and there's multiple targets, this is a multiple set of targets. So multiple targets being keywords or ASINs, you're going to get a set of stats. Now, those set of stats will be generated by all the search terms as well as the ASINs that are in this target set, okay? As this is not a formal name, it's just a group of keywords or ASINs that are inside an ad group. So you have a group of keywords, maybe 100 broad match keywords, and you have 10 products in this ad group, okay? But you only get one set of reports. So the reports are specific to the ad group. And that presents a problem when you have 10 products, because you don't really know, if you look at the stats for a specific search term, whether it applied to product B or product F or product G that are included in this group of products. And that's why in the previous slide, we recommend one SKU per ad group, so that you're going to be able to see, you're going to be able to analyze these stats and understand, oh, it applies specifically to product A if there's only one product in this ad group. And you can see in this case how we really suggest you to create granular ad groups. Okay, so ad group number 1 has only one product in it. It has product 01. It could have 100 keywords, 200. Maybe it only has 5 keywords. Maybe it has 5 keywords and 5 ASINs. But then there's these set of stats. And these set of stats, again, is all related. It's specific to the ad group, but it depends on you to create an ad group properly so that you can see these stats specific to product 1. You can see these set of stats as how they apply to product 2 and product 3 and so on and so forth. Okay. All right. I just want to briefly go over match types. So broad match types will match to, okay, let me back up a step. So these match types are what you assign when you add keywords. So keywords are what you're telling Amazon, these are the keywords I want to advertise for. Now, those keywords will get matched up to search terms. And what search terms are search phrases that customers enter into the Amazon search bar. And then Amazon's ad algorithm will, what they'll do is they'll take the customer search terms and try to match it to the keywords that you've added to your campaign. Okay, so with that said, the broad match type matches to search terms containing the individual words in any order. So so an example of this is, say, stainless steel knife. So you got 3 individual words in the keyword called stainless steel knife. So if you add that as a broad match keyword, then the search term that it can be matched with can come out as steel knife stainless or knife steel stainless. Okay, so the individual words that customers use don't have to be in the same order as the keyword that you added with the broad match type. Now, the advantage is broad audience reach, higher impressions, easier setup. Performs best with 1 or 2 word searches which appeal to large audiences. Broad match keywords can also have additional words, individual words added onto the keyword that you put in. So for stainless steel knife, a customer can search for black stainless steel knife, and that could be matched up to your keyword, stainless steel knife. Okay. For phrase match, the key difference between phrase and broad match is that the sequence that that the individual words show up in your keyword have to match the sequence that customers use. So if you have a keyword that is stainless steel knife, that is phrase match, then if a customer types in knife, steel, stainless, then that search term will not match up to your phrase match version of stainless steel knife. Okay. And for exact match, so for phrase match, that's really the only difference. But with phrase match, Amazon's ad algorithm could take customer search terms, which have additional individual words added to your keyword, and match it to your phrase match keyword. For exact match, it's pretty much the 80-20 rule with that is it's pretty much how it sounds. So a customer's search term is more or less exactly matched to the keyword that you added as exact match. And then there's negative exact, which will block exact keywords in the same order without any other additional words beyond the keyword that you assign with a negative exact match. A negative phrase is basically the flip of the phrase match, where it can match to a customer search term with the rules of phrase match, but it blocks out the advertising for the keyword that you added for negative phrase match. So here's a visual to explain the relationship between keywords and search terms. So you can, for any one keyword, you can have Amazon's ad algorithm could match several search terms to that keyword. Okay. Okay, so this is where we get a little deep, but I'm just going to go over it. I'll try to go over as briefly as possible. So from the structure standpoint, what you want to try to build, what we suggest you build are at least one automatic campaign that has one ad group in it, and there's four targeting groups that Amazon provides: close match, loose match, complements, and substitutes. And then we do suggest that you create at least one manual research campaign with a broad ad group as one of the ad groups, a phrase ad group as another one, and exact match ad group as a third one. And there's also a manual optimal campaign. And this is where you'll see some steps later on, but this is where you'll move favorable search terms from the manual research campaign into the optimal campaign. So the optimal campaign is designed to have very few keywords, but it's very precise, very targeted. And then another campaign we suggest you create is a product targeting campaign that's branded. So if you have your own private label brand, then the product targets you can add are those that are in your account or part of your brand that are similar to the product you're advertising. And finally, there's another, the last campaign we suggest, generally speaking, is a conquest product targeting campaign. And in here is where you add product targets that consist of your competitors. Okay, so we're gonna go through some optimization terminology. So ACOS percentage, this talks about advertised cost of sale. Okay, so if your ACOS percentage is 10%, that means, and if you sell $100 worth, right, down here, so the example, as we can see, if you spend $10 in ads to make $100 in sales, then you have a 10% ACOS. Another term that we look at is break-even ACOS, and usually this is identical to your product's net margin prior to considering all the operating costs of your business, like legal fees, accounting fees, things of that nature, HR fees, so on and so forth. Okay, so when you start optimizing or tuning, a lot of questions we get is, well, what are the steps you take? What are the filters you apply? What are the criteria that we look at when it comes to trying to optimize our campaigns over time, over the next few weeks or the next several months, even after you create a campaign? So the first criteria is if you find search terms that have 0 sales. So we'll look at the last 60 days. We'll see, we're trying to find search terms that have 0 orders, that have at least 7 or more clicks. Okay, and the action we'll take is we'll add those 0 sales search terms as negative exact match keywords at the ad group level. If the search term shows low potential, so it's getting impressions, but the CTR percentage is pretty low, it's less than 0.15%, we'll also do the same thing. We'll add it as a negative exact match at the ad group level. Okay. Here's some additional steps that we want to take. So if we find search terms that are favorable in the automatic campaigns, where we're looking at the last 60 days, there may be 0 orders, but they're getting a healthy amount of impressions and their click-through rate is greater than or equal to 0.7%, what we want to do is take those search terms from the automatic campaigns and try adding them as all through match types in the manual research campaign. We'll also look at search terms that have converted, that have generated one or more orders, and we'll take the same action. We'll add these search terms as a new keyword using all through match types in the manual research campaign. Down here, if a search term is looking very favorable, if we find search terms that are favorable in the manual research campaigns that, that we say, for example, came from either expansion efforts from automatic campaigns or came from our keyword research, then what we want to do is we want to find orders. We want to find search terms that generated 3 or more orders where the ACOS is less than the break-even ACOS, and the CTR rate is healthy, 0.4% or higher. Then this is where the manual optimal campaign plays a role. Then we want to add those keywords. I'm sorry, we want to add those search terms that were in the manual research campaign and add them as new keywords using all 3 match types in the manual optimal campaign. Okay, so similar thought process with targets. These are keywords in ASIN. So previously we were talking about search terms. So search terms are what customers search with, right? Search terms are not what you add to your campaigns. What you add to your campaigns are actually keywords. And you're also adding product targets in the form of ASINs, okay? So if we find, so the criteria we use to define a target that is generating zero sales is to look at the last 60 days, see if it's generating no orders, but see if it's gotten 7 or more clicks. Then what we want to do is to reduce the bid to 10 cents. Or if you want to be more sophisticated, you could take the CPC value and then reduce it by 40%. Okay. This also applies to targeting groups. Now, targeting groups are what automatic campaigns have: the close match, loose match, complements, and substitutes. So, so these are the set of actions that apply to keywords, product targets, as well as targeting groups. We want to take the same set of actions against targets that have low potential. So we can see that the criteria is a little different, where it has generated a sufficient number of impressions. The CTR is less than 0.15%. Okay. And we want to reduce that all the way down to 10 cents immediately. All right. Well, what about targets that are unprofitable? Okay. So we're going to look at the last 60 days. Well, how do we determine targets that are unprofitable? Well, strictly speaking, it's where the ACOS is higher than your preferred ACOS. But we have a few rules and we stagger them. So for the targets where the ACOS is 2 times higher than the preferred ACOS, okay, and where the bid is definitely greater than the CPC, and it's gotten enough attention in terms of impressions, and we're looking at the last 60 days, then what we want to do is take the CPC and cut it in half and set the new bid to that amount. Okay, so we want to set the new bid to be half of the CPC, of the cost per click. All right, well, what about targets where the ACOS is higher than the preferred ACOS, but not really that high? So in this case, so they're not really that high, but so I forgot to type something else in here, but it should be where the targets where the ACOS is also lower than 2 times the preferred ACOS. So if the ACOS is between 1.5 times higher than the preferred ACOS to 2 times the preferred ACOS, then what you want to do is take the CPC amount and reduce it by 25%. So take the CPC and multiply by 75%. Well, how about profitable targets in targeting groups? Well, what you want to do is how do you determine these? So what you want to do is find targets where the ACOS is less than the preferred ACOS or less than your break-even ACOS. That depends on your advertising objective. So in this case, we suggest that you would want to set the new bid to be incrementally more than your current bid. You don't want to increase the bid by 2 times the amount or 3 times the amount. You want to gradually increase it with each cycle of the of your tuning schedule. Okay, so just remember, you're going to create these ads. You want to generate impressions. The impressions will generate clicks, and then through those clicks will translate into conversions. So these are the metrics you want to really keep in mind to assess the health of your campaign. So you want to look for campaigns that are generating an adequate number of impressions. You want to have as many of these impressions roll over to clicks. And from these clicks, you want to have as many of these clicks result in sales. And if you're able to do that as well as possible with your campaigns, then the Amazon ad algorithm will reward you for that. Okay, so that's all for today. I feel like we've talked about quite a number of things today. We talked about the challenges that COVID presents to your business as well as Amazon advertising. So hopefully, so my hope is that you were able to have some takeaways from that and help you clarify what are some of the next steps you need to take for the business. But also remember just to be nimble and be agile because things can change at a moment's notice. We also went through some concepts, a deeper dive into the concepts of Amazon advertising and also how we internally carry out and execute some of our optimization practices. So if you have any questions from this slide, feel free to reach me. There's my email address that you can see right there, and there's our website. Feel free to contact me. But otherwise, I wish for the best for you and your business. I hope everybody stays healthy. I hope everybody, we just have to bite our tongue a little bit, be a little more patient with people around us. And, hopefully let's all cross our fingers and pray and hope that, that the situation that's occurring today blows over sooner rather than later. So I wish you the best of luck and thank you again for your time.